Oh my god, she's a weirdo.
Hello, 'tis I, Fat Cow. It's 1:50 a.m. and I've been up over an hour. My sleep schedule's a tad fucked, let's say, and I've been waking up about midnight, 1 a.m. Every day for the last week. So that's great. Regardless, there's a lot to comment on, but not, because I have not recorded for the last 3 or 4 days. And yet, when I compiled all the pieces together of stuff I did want to comment on, I managed about 20 minutes of clips with Foodie. There's also a tiny bit of AmberlynnReid, and there's a tiny bit of QUIRKYLOVEROSIE. Anyway, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to have a day where I go out, legitimately go out. First, it's ducks. There is a huge amount of food in the back of my car currently. And then I'm going to see my mum. Usually I see her on Fridays. Today's Saturday. Well, we have birthdays very, very, very close together, my mum and I. She's on one day, I'm the day after that. Not the day after that, but the day after the day after that. And so I'm off to give her present. With kids, obviously. And then post office, yay, and some other projects I've got to finish up over the weekend to go back to the post office on Monday, yay. Anyway, that's not why I'm here. Let's get on with this diatribe of absolute tripe and see if we can find something within this quagmire of absolute drivel that I can legitimately comment on.
500 milligrams? What the hell? What the hell do you think I'm on?
Yeah, I kind of blended the lives together to just show some.
Anyways.
Yeah. Add to the story somewhat. Let's talk about drugs, shall we? Now, on Twitter, people seem to have the idea that she's taking 5,000 milligram gummies each time, and they don't exist. The Mike Tyson, the Mike Bites, which incidentally come in the shape of a gummy ear, because that's a thing that exists. The current one she's on, there are 20 pieces in 1,000 milligram bag, and each piece obviously has 50 milligrams. Now, I wanted to know, because I have no idea about this shit, if 50 milligrams is a lot or not. Well, first we've got to take into consideration that the dosages are less effective the more you weigh, because fat is very good at absorbing shit. So people over 300 pounds in weight, which is about 136 kilos, usually need around 70 milligrams to get an intense high. So one gummy wouldn't do it for Foodie. Initially, the initial dose. So, according to the internet, not just Google, 50 milligrams is considered a strong high, and it's only recommended for users that have a very high tolerance. So we're talking about one gummy here, one gummy. And we already know that when Foodie comes live in the evening, she's already taken at least one, And there's a lot of evidence, if you listen in the background, when she suddenly goes off screen, that she takes at least another one during the course of a live, if not two, depending on the length of the live. So we're going to go under the premise that when Foodie goes live in the evening, she's already taken 50 milligrams. 50 milligrams, if you were a beginner, is considered a high potency, which would be likely to produce intense psychoactive effects. So if I took one, I would be off my complete noggin and probably in bed after that and not happy about it. The only two occasions that I've actually gotten that high, both times when I was a student, I hated it. I hated the feeling, absolutely loathed it. The first time I got what kind I only describe as telescopic arms. So when I went to reach for things, they appeared to be miles away. And although somebody was sat next to me, in my peripheral vision, they were on the other side of the room. And when I turned my head slightly, they'd snap back into being next to me. And it was awful, awful, awful. And the only thing I wanted to do was lie down in bed. Hated it. It's not pleasant. I don't know what kind of reality you're trying to escape with this, but if that's what you want in exchange, good grief. Unedible in gummy form, because obviously there's vapes, there's tinctures, there's smoking. It takes time. It takes between 20 minutes to 2 hours to have an effect. So it's recommended you wait at least an hour and a half between doses before you take more, in case it builds up and the high you do get when it catches up with each other is miserable, which is what happened to me basically. The first toke, it was a bong. Actually, it was a homemade bong, and it's the one and only time I've ever smoked using a bong. And again, as a student, the first one didn't seem to be working, so I took a second one, and then it was just far, far too much, and a miserable evening was had. Absolutely miserable. Foodie's taking Delta 8, not Delta 9. The difference is it's meant to be a slightly more mellow high. Doesn't appear to be from what we've seen. Right, greening out is nausea, sweating, dizziness, anxiety, and can lead to panic attacks and paranoia. So, again, this all sounds like loads of fun to me. And that's about as much as I can find out. Foodie is taking what is considered a high dose, but there again would need to, given her weight. But she's not leaving enough time between doses, and she is probably on about 150 milligrams by the end of the live when she starts nodding off. It can't be pleasant, in my opinion. And it's an escape from her current situation, which we know. And she's always needed an escape. And I would argue now that not even food is enough. She needs additional coping mechanisms. And I'm going to get to the reasons why, beyond the obvious reasons why, later.
I'm not talking about our relationship. Silver Soft. Thank you.
One thing I have noticed is she now refers to whatever it is between her and Salah as a relationship. When she first arrived, which was not that long ago, it was like a month. It's, I'm divorced, we're separated, I'm divorced, I'm separated. There's no mention of divorce or separated anymore. it's very evident she considers herself still in a relationship.
I'm just living my life right now. Trying so hard.
That on screen now is not an individual who's trying so hard. That is an individual who is waiting for the next thing to happen. And the next thing to happen involves Salah. She's waiting for that man to reappear in her life. Now, this indicates to me that a plan has been put in place between the two of them that involves them getting together. Now, she still insists she's not going to Syria. She wants to. She desperately wants to go to Syria because she wants to be with Salah. But he doesn't want her in Syria. Again, I am going back on myself because things change so often here that the plan is she's got to wait it out there for him to get there. The plan is for a year. After a year, she will move to somewhere that is suitable for them, not just her. She talks about not wanting to decorate and planning to move after this apartment finishes. I get the impression that that cat is just a stop filler until Julia is there. You know, just a placeholder for Julia, which is awful. And that they have plans. And she knows she has to stay where she is for this plan to come to fruition. But she hates it and she doesn't want to.
To reestablish a effing life. We're technically not paper divorce yet.
Again, if they had legitimately done the loophole marriage in Kuwait, a marriage that would be considered legal in Kuwait, but illegal, not recognised in many other countries that are under Muslim law, including Syria, she would have had to have married Salah as a Christian. That marriage not being legally recognised in Syria, however, means it can't be terminated in Syria either, because as far as Syria is concerned, they're not married. So the divorce could not take place. And she doesn't even consider herself not paper divorced either. She keeps saying now, my relationship. As far as she's concerned, they're together and they're married. And this now flips back to, I was really under the impression that the initial plan was for Foodie to come to Canada and for Salah to follow her to Canada. I then, in the beginning of this, judging by Foodie's reactions to being in Canada, she thought that was the plan, but Salah's just gotten rid of her. But Salah has done something in the last week since payday to give her the impression the original plan is back on track, that she sets things up in Canada and he will follow. So she currently is under the impression that Salah is going to come to Canada at some point. We all know he will never get permission to do so, but she's going to ignore that because she's very good at ignoring like really glaringly obvious facts and important details. Whether he legitimately wants to or not with her is another matter. I'm just saying that she believes now that this is the plan.
Or maybe we are. Actually, I'm not telling anyone. You love the mood I'm in? Better than when I got here. Shit, I was torture. That was torture. That was pain. Why I shall never relive that again. I realize you don't understand me because, listen, I cried and begged and pleaded and said I wanted to come back to Canada. I cannot be there. And so I was like, you said this and did this a million times.
Which I believe she did. I believe she begged and pleaded and wanted to go back to Canada every time they argued. And it was a veiled threat in many, many ways. And he probably said this time, okay, go back to Canada, but this time you fucking stay and you wait until the plan that she believes is going to happen stays in place, as opposed to us working on the plan together in Syria. I mean, if I was with somebody and they kept threatening to leave all the time when things were bad, I would say, fine, go then. But if you go, you stay gone. So she's created this rod for her own back, and he's put his little foot down and insisted. Now, a lot of people have always said that Foodie carries all the authority in this relationship, and I'm not so sure, because it's very evident. It was evident anyway, but it's even more evident now that Salah can do anything he fucking wants, and Foodie is not leaving him at all.
This is the final time. So I prepare. I get on a plane, come all the way to Canada, get approved for a place of my own, get a cat, set up, have a cloud couch.
I just want to point out, the couch has a name. The cat doesn't.
And now I'm just like when I first got here, I was like, I want to come back. I don't want to be here.
I added this after that to show you the face of somebody who wants to be where they are and is dealing with it really, really well. She's waiting for the next stage to occur, which involves again her and Salah being together in some way, and she's just obliterating the time that she has to wait. She's in limbo, waiting for the time she can be with Salah, which is peculiar because when she's with him, she's still unhappy, and they argue a lot, and she just says, well, that's what relationships are. People argue. Yeah, but not daily, not even weekly. There's some falling out, but not with the frequency that you're implying is normal. This is the very definition of glassy-eyed, by the way.
Look for a job. I wish I had like ice cold water.
It's called a tap, love.
I believe in you and Salah. If we ever get reunited, then that's God's. That was meant to be for sure.
Why did you change the "that's God's plan" to "that was meant to be"? You know, why the stumble over the words? If we are reunited, that's the plan. It was meant to be. Because that's your plan, isn't it? I don't know why you wanted to eliminate God in this involvement. Just an observation.
Take your Shahada lessons, or yeah. So the crackhead Olympics were forgiven, and
So when you take the Shahada, if you legitimately believe what you're saying, everything you've done previously up until that moment that was considered sinful would be forgiven. So she said, when I took the Shahada, the crackhead Olympics was forgiven. And all the shit she did before was forgiven. All the stalking, the lying, the getting drunk, the finger guns with that flipping song, Cuba Rage, all eradicated. She's then going to say,
I was a very loyal woman and wife.
so you haven't cheated on Salah. And that's enough for the preceding 3 years to be considered you being a significantly better person than you were in God's eyes? Because no, you've done a shitload of stuff since, apart from starfish for another man. That's not really a benchmark to indicate progress. Is that your standard? Since taking the Shahada, I haven't slept with another man? That's it? That's being a better person? Your standards aren't particularly high, are they? But yeah, that's me stating the obvious, isn't it?
Was Majnooni sometimes, but I should find a nice Indian man. No, it's not about any man from any culture. It's just about man, period.
And that's because Foodie considers herself in a relationship, because we know she can't swear off men. If she thinks she's in a relationship, she can't swear off other men. She has to have a man in her life or men in her life, because without that she has no identity. And she says as much of this anyway later on, but she has no identity without a man in her life, which quite frankly is pathetic.
I'm just like over it right now, man. I have my cat to think about. I'm still married. I don't know. An apology for what exactly? Get that divorce filed. It's just that it's not like we live in 2 different countries, so it's not like it really affects our lives in the foreseeable future. You know, he's like, I'm not gonna get remarried, and even if he wanted to, he's allowed more than one wife. For me, it would be a problem. He'd have to divorce me if I wanted to get remarried in haste, but I don't ever want to be remarried.
Because as far as she's concerned, she is still married. It's a better excuse for still being married than she's come up with previously. We're in different countries, so it doesn't really matter. By the way, your Turkish lover with the family and children was in different countries for his wife, and yeah, as far as you're concerned, the marriage thing didn't matter either.
You look tired today. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. I guess I'll your YouTube. I trust him. He was my husband. He's harassing my mods. I don't like this. I'll be incoherent in 20 minutes. Okay, if you can still understand me in 20 minutes. Why do you feel the need the edibles? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know if that was her being sarcastic or meant to be a joke, or she legitimately was denying it, because that's a really pathetic thing to lie about, given how poorly she's hidden it.
I don't don't want to talk. Hey, Lauren. The perv one, silver saw, yeah.
I remember watching this part, the end of her live, on another channel in its entirety, uncut. And I just remember thinking, why would she still be on live in this condition? Surely somewhere amongst this drug-addled brain would be the thought process that this is a really, really bad idea. It was, I wouldn't say disturbing, it was unsettling. It was very unsettling to watch this.
What? What?
It's like seeing a video of you taken by somebody else when you're really, really drunk. Surely you'd be mortified. Unless she legitimately doesn't watch her stuff back or watch other people's, well, she must see videos of herself. I don't know the thought process. If I saw myself like that on screen, I would think, that's not good. I didn't realise it was that bad. But again, she's using this to escape from a lot of things and to eradicate the feeling of waiting for the next stage to happen. And so in a weird way, a vicious circle is she's using the drugs to ignore the drugs as well, if that makes any sense.
I'm tired. It's only almost 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. Granted, I'm usually asleep at 8 p.m.
This makes
too,
me
but
really
for different
relax.
reasons.
So yeah.
I think she just farted. It was silent, but judging by, I had kids, toddlers. I know the face.
You. Okay. Yes. Hey, YouTube lover. I'm sorry, but regardless, you had a job or not.
I did the text-to-speech and then I went through it, and the few words it got wrong, I amended, because at this stage in the edible journey, she becomes incoherent. So I thought subtitles were needed.
I don't feel like going on camera tonight, so I wasn't even...
Additionally, this is a separate live from the one previously. So by the sounds of it, she's had at least 2 gummies already and then goes live. Already very hard to understand. Now, the live after that, I know I'm skipping ahead, she's going to claim she has no memory of doing this live. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I mean, plausible deniability, maybe. But if she legitimately doesn't remember doing that, that's very disturbing.
I'm gonna go live.
So basically, here's the gist. I'm not camming up, and I'm not going to make an effort because I can barely make an effort. But the fact that I'm doing a live anyway should be considered an effort. So suck on that, or sit and spin, I think the phrase is.
So this is how you have to take me tonight. It's just for tonight that
Sure, Jan.
I have no camera on. Did you read the title of this live? No complaints. What's sad? What? Yeah, I'm okay.
It is sad, and it's pathetic, and it's pitiful, but it's not unusual. It's not unusual for Foodie, that's for sure. And the sad truth is a lot of people live a life somewhat similar to this when it comes to drugs. And I don't know. I in that regard, I don't know, because I've never had an addiction. So I can't put myself in that place. I don't know what to say or how to feel about this particularly, except in regards to what I know about Foodie Beauty as a character, which, granted, makes you feel slightly less empathetic to the whole situation. But a wounded animal's a wounded animal. I would say, you know, do you feel empathy for a spider when you've squashed it? Well, yes, I would, because I don't squash spiders. If I accidentally squash a spider, I feel bad. But I'm using a spider as an example because it's an animal that's quite polarising. If you saw a spider drowning in a tub of water, would you feel sorry for it, even if you hate spiders? I've compared Foodie to a spider, and I've done it very badly, but you understand what I'm saying. Legitimately, there's not an animal on the planet I dislike. Possibly mosquitoes. But they killed my rabbit when I was a kid because of myxomatosis, so I'm a bit biased.
Thank you, Carrie. So, hey, Sneaker. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Yeah.
I didn't keep this in my edit, but later she says happy Thanksgiving again, as if she was saying it for the first time. She forgot she'd already said it. It's not exactly notable because, given her condition, that's not surprising. But I thought I'd mention it.
Happy Thanksgiving, Americans. I'm on this planet, excuse me.
Technically, yeah. You can't physically die of an overdose of THC in the same way that you can die of an overdose of, heroin, for example. You can cause paranoia and panic attacks, and it fucks up your heart and obviously your lungs if you're smoking it, and it can have effects on your kidneys and your liver. But you couldn't do too much in one night and die in the same ways as you could over a particularly large dose of heroin, for example. But it does deplete your health status, particularly mentally, with prolonged use. Given Foodie's state of health, however, it could bring on something to do with her health that could end her having overdone it in one night. So it could contribute towards an event, but it couldn't directly cause the event had she been a healthy individual, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I'm not coming up, so I have not been crying. I'm safe at home. This place.
I'd imagine she's not trying to hide the fact she's been crying a lot. She's probably hiding the fact she is a drooling lump of saggy just there-ness. And given how she was on live yesterday, and she's seen how beyond a certain point it's, in her mind, obvious. I mean, we know right from the get-go she's taken something, but she probably thinks, oh, the end of the last live, it was very obvious I'd taken something, even though everybody knows the minute she cams up whether she's taken something or not. But I think in this incident she's had taken at least 2 gummies at this point, and there was a point of no return in terms of being able to hide evidence. I don't know why she's trying to hide it so much, unless you think she's fooling Salah, that is. Her need to hide very obvious things and deny them is something I find very perplexing, because it's so obvious she's lying and yet she continues to lie. But it's very much with AmberlynnReid as well, and her need to prove people wrong when she's caught in a lie, that the extent that they go to just are pathetic and just confirm what you were thinking in the first place.
This is really weird. Oh, hey Scrape, what's up, man? What the hell is that? What's up? Hope you're well. Hope you're all okay. No, I know the screen is off just for tonight. That's all. It's not going to be a reoccurring thing. You know. I'm okay, guys. I'm okay, guys. I'm just really tired, I guess.
This I'm really tired bullshit. You're really tired of life, and you're really tired of waiting for the next phase of your life that involves Salah. But at this rate, I legitimately don't think that when it is the time for Salah to allegedly come over, in your mind, because we know it's not possible, that you'll even be around, love. You're wasting the few months you've got left.
Let's go driving, yeah, okay. Like, okay, Claudia and Kate, you can't even spell my name. Like, oops. I have to do better for what? I'm going to be passing out after this.
You have to do better for the sake of your channel, which is your only source of income. Now, you think if you get demonetized, you can just go back to Syria where you have no bills. Do you legitimate... No, that's a stupid question as well. Salah won't take you back if you have no money, because he knows that even though there's barely a chance he'll make it to Canada, there is even less than barely no chance if you don't have enough money to sponsor him. And he doesn't want you back in Syria, love.
I don't have kids to look. I don't have to be responsible.
Yes, you do, because there is another living being in your home that cannot look after itself. So in that regards, fuck off.
I just have to go to bed. Who cares? People are so dramatic. No, but I mean, I'm always on camera, and one night, I don't feel like it.
People aren't criticising Foodie for not being on camera. She thinks, oh, they don't like the fact I'm not making the effort and I don't care about camming up, when what they are criticising her for is being at the point of dysfunction because of drugs. She's okay with this. She's fine with this. She thinks what she's doing is perfectly reasonable. Well, Foodie, your money every month from here on in is going to decrease significantly to the point where you're going to have to choose between food and drugs. And I think you're going to find that very difficult.
So, what happens?
Later on, another life, she goes about how, because she doesn't intend to stay in that particular apartment for longer than a year, if that, she has no intention of decorating it with any more furniture than she's already acquired. So the money you raised from your Let's Restart My Life business, you've bought stuff, you've spent it all, and unless people start giving you money for other shit for your home, you're done, is basically what you're saying. Well, I can understand not wanting to put an effort in making a home for yourself to somewhere you consider temporary. You did ask for an awful lot of money to set up your home, didn't you? And the maths doesn't math, because what you've spent on the home and what you raised are not the same thing. So again, you raise money for something and only use part of the money for the thing you claim it's for, and then spend the rest on yourself for food and drugs. The same as you did with Sassa's money, for example. The same as you did with the donations for the cat food. Use a bit of it for what you said and then keep the rest for yourself.
Where would I go tomorrow? Is what, Friday?
Today's Saturday. We know today's Saturday. I've missed a fair bit. But life got in the way, and unlike some people, I tend to put life above going online. You know, priorities.
Like, why the hate? And weird, you know?
So your justification for being who you are is you're weird. Again, I take offence of you claiming to be weird. There's a vast difference between being a weird individual, which you've called me on many occasions, and being an aberration. A big difference.
Are you eating? No. Anyways, my block.
I'm eating edibles. That doesn't count as food. I think the day that drugs was made into a form that tastes like sweets was the day the second but last nail was put in Foodie's coffin. I mean, not only does she get high, but it tastes like candy. I have a tendency to take more vitamins than I need to, because my vitamins taste like candy too. Says a lot about me, obviously. But, yeah.
Some people. No. Like, why pause? I'm just literally just sitting here. Literally. Like, I'm sorry that I cannot be on camera, be very entertaining. I mean,
there is a certain level of expectation from your viewers for you to do more than simply exist on camera. You don't do fuck all, Foodie. Regardless of where you are or how interesting where you are is, you show nothing, you do nothing. So at the bare minimum, people expect you to talk more and about unique things, as in not repeating yourself. They want you to talk about something, anything. They're dying here.
It's just for one night, you know?
She started to get significantly more messages and notifications since payday, I note. So Salah is obviously pacifying the beast somewhat. He's got her to veil. He hasn't directly gotten her to veil, but she's veiled because of him. The drug thing, she's denying. She's not spending much of his money being the money she earned that she gives to him, or she doesn't have enough anymore beyond paying for food and drugs, possibly. It's a very peculiar dynamic. Do you know the twins, Darcy and the other one? The ones that have been a little bit too enthusiastic about plastic surgery. And not Darcy, because Darcy's the one that finds maintaining a relationship somewhat troublesome. The one that's been on 90 Day Fiancé. Their sister Lacey, I think, maybe, who was married to Fabio for 10 years, or in a relationship with Fabio for 10 years. Fabio finally got his immigration papers after 10 years of being with Lacey, who arguably isn't short of money, is a public figure and has a particularly wealthy father, let's say. And within months of him getting all his legal paperwork for the States, he's left her. 10 years, Foodie. 10 years, and arguably Lacey was providing him a significantly better standard of living than you were offering somebody who isn't a romance scammer, according to you. And not only that, he's left this lavish lifestyle the moment he got his papers to continue his life as a carpenter, which a lot of people would think would be a significant step backwards from the lifestyle he was living previously. He prefers a humble lifestyle without Lacey, but in the country he wanted to live in, than the lavish lifestyle with Lacey in the country he wants to live in. So, Foodie, think about that. You've only done 3 years. You've spent a third of it apart, and you don't offer much apart from possibly living in Canada. And Lacey, who is an individual, who is healthy at least, and well off, from a well-off family, loses her partner of 10 years once he got his papers.
Right, Melanie? Colleen? Like, what the hell? Like, that wasn't even me. That's what's weird. Can y'all just chill out? Let's just chill out. Who cares? Yes, I'm overwhelmed, so let's just chill out. Yeah.
I don't think overwhelmed is the right word. You're impatient, you're bored, and you're lonely, so you're eradicating a good 50% of your waking life while you just sit there and wait. Amber has choosy. You have drugs.
Everything's okay, I guess. I mean, it's so weird looking around here, thinking that not even a year ago, I was in the desert in Kuwait. Okay, let me put this away. Shut your smart asses up.
There's a lot of times when she is cammed up that she'll say, I've got to go to the wash my hands. And we all know Foodie doesn't wash her hands. In the live before, she went to wash her hands twice, which was odd. But we all know now that going to wash my hands is a euphemism for another gummy. So that's great. Another bit of lore.
Thank you very much. I should not be living by myself.
No, you should not be living by yourself, but Pete should not be living with you, so it's a bit of a conundrum. And even if Pete was living with you, you'd still get stoned. It's not like Pete can drive you anywhere or take you places. You can't be a passenger princess with Pete. In fact, you could get even more stoned more often with Pete around because he could do shit for you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm okay.
I mean, it's a bit pointless to say out loud, but Foodie is not a functional adult in any way, shape or form. She's not functional at all. It is a surprise she's lasted this long.
I need help. Why? What's depressing, Kaylee?
You are, and the life you're currently living.
The only thing depressing is some of you guys. I just don't know what is so depressing, you know? I'm depressed. Just relax, Rachel. I'm relaxed. I'm tired. I don't sleep well at all. When I wake up lately, since having left Syria, okay, it's better.
She's sticking with the she's just tired argument here, by the way.
Yeah. I can't sleep well, so I'm tired right now. I think so. Yeah. We have to go outside. I have to build a life. Like, I don't have a life. And I'm not in good shape. So, what am I supposed to do?
Get in shape? There's a thought.
What in the hell am I supposed to do? Let's build a life. However, I'm pick you up and go somewhere. So, having a man was your life. Is that pathetic? Yes.
And there we go. Without a man in your life, even if, as far as you're concerned, you have a man in your life, just remotely, you have no life. You don't exist. It is truly, truly pathetic and sad.
So, I was gonna call my cat Julia. Build a life with Pete. He's the most loyal. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to block people. I'll ban who I want in the chat. I don't find the same people amusing that you do, clearly.
I don't like anybody pointing out the fucking obvious, which is I'm a pathetic loser, basically.
I'm reading the chats. Let me continue what I'm gonna live how I want. And like, if people don't like that I live a certain way, they don't have to follow me.
You're going to find that a lot of people are going to take that statement to heart, and you're going to lose what very little support you have, apart from maybe a dozen people at max.
Can't make everyone happy. Hurt myself. How am I hurting myself?
How are you not hurting yourself, sweetheart? This is it. This is the last year of your life, Foodie. The last year of your life. And I know you can't plan that far ahead. I would say you should be more concerned, but you're removing the ability to be concerned by completely numbing everything.
What the hell? I don't feel like being on camera today.
That's not the issue.
What else? Well, I'm hurting my channel. How? Just because I...
If you legitimately don't understand how you're hurting your channel, there is no help for you. And again, this has nothing to do with the fact you won't cam up. At all.
I don't want to show myself today. Who cares? I'm not sulking. I'm just here to bees or chat. I'm pretty tired. Anyways, I'm not gonna be on long anyway, guys, because, you know, I'm gonna lay down. And, what? Scream? Yeah. I'm okay. I'm just, you know, craving mac and cheese. I'm not greening out, so I don't even feel like talking right now. I should probably just get off. I mean, what's the point? I don't even feel like being on camera, right, guys? Okay, guys. Okay, good night. Sorry, my chat wasn't updated. Lara, yummy. Best to turn in? Yeah. In a car. That probably won't happen soon. Okay, guys. Yeah. Good night for now. I'll try to, don't worry, fall into a more consistent schedule as we go, okay? You hear gunshots, it ain't from me. Because I'm not, you know, there anymore, so. Okay, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.
Apparently, this live, the live previous, another live, she fell asleep off camera and you could hear her sleeping. So, riveting content, foodie. There really isn't much you can say about a lot of things. She very, very occasionally drops something worthy of commenting on, probably not on purpose. But beyond that, this is it. There is going to be no change apart from give it another week and she'll run out of money significantly and start panicking because she's going to have to choose between food and drugs. So we'll have 2 weeks of that until the other payday. And I don't know if her money's being rather consistent at the moment because people are legitimately watching the train wreck, or if the views are dropping currently, but they are due to drop at some point soon.
I'm not embarrassed. I don't even remember it. I just remember being so...
This, by the full body language, is a complete and total lie. She does remember it. She's just going to claim no responsibility for what happened because she has no memory of it at all. That's her story. She's sticking to it. Oh yeah, and she's tired.
Sleepy and like passing out. Were we riding the bus? I did say I would, didn't I? I'm just like, ugh. I don't know, I might get bus sick today.
Oh no, I can't do the thing I said I was going to do because of a thing that might happen if I do it. That, you know, doesn't actually happen. Gosh, I've got to think of better excuses. Yeah. Also, you know, I say that you can always tell when Foodie's lying when she says a statement and immediately corrects herself, that the first statement's also true. Another thing I've noticed is she deflects a lot by changing the subject, by bringing up, what shall I eat? Or, how do you cook this? You know, she deflects with food a lot. So, that's something else to watch out for.
I'm feeling a bit dizzy, so I don't know if motion sickness.
You can't be motion sickness at home. So you're feeling too dizzy with motion sickness to get on a vehicle to get motion sickness. So no bus today, no bus tomorrow, no buses at all because you don't want to leave the house. You want to eat and you want to get stoned. And you're hoping that the promise of doing more keeps people around. but people are finally losing patience with you. It took significantly longer than I thought it would, but it is finally happening.
Might get the best of me. Let's get some fresh air.
It's too cold.
It's freezing outside. I don't want to go outside. I have laundry to do. I have like pretty much a lot of stuff.
She's too busy, guys, to do something her viewers actually want. And while you could argue that you're not obligated to do what your viewers want you to do, you do have a certain obligation to do something. Bare minimum is be somewhat interesting. I presume that's the bare minimum. I mean, if I literally just sat here like this, would you guys watch it? Because if that's the case, it's significantly easier than doing what I'm doing now. But I couldn't do that anyway. Seriously.
I gotta do.
But she can't even show you her doing her chores, even as entertainment, because people might find out where she lives if she shows too much of her apartment. People already know where you live, sweetheart. But it's a plausible excuse. It's a plausible excuse for not showing anything at all in your life. At all.
You want me to go out there? I have things to do, Casey, all of which are none of your business, and I like it that way.
So fuck off, Casey. So, guys, stop pressuring me to do stuff.
I know. On the verge of blocking.
There literally will be YouTube lover, scrape joke, goat, and teardrop left. Because even Tracy's getting pissed off with this. You'll have 3 regular viewers who still support you by the end of the year at this rate. Your business is failing, foodie.
I've been taking taxis if I want to go out.
So she claims, which is utter bullshit, that when she does want to go out, she takes taxis, not buses, because buses make her feel sick now, and that's why she can't go on a bus to do anything for you guys. But that will backfire, because people are saying, so you have gone out, but you can't be bothered to make any content out of the fact you have gone out. And so she's put herself in a lose-lose situation by claiming she has gone out but used a taxi as an excuse for not using a bus. She shot herself in the foot, basically. Should just be honest and say, look guys, I'm waiting for my life to continue, and while I'm waiting, this is what you've got. Please be patient. I'm not dealing with it very well. That would make more interesting content, being honest about what's going on.
Are you going to take us on a bus ride? I was going to, but I'm a bit dizzy.
Dizzy, bad back, stomachache, headache, laundry, chores. Don't wanna. You can't make me. It's my channel. You can fuck off if you don't like it.
Yeah, I don't go out much. Otherwise.
You don't go out at all. And that's because everything your little heart desires can be delivered. I remember when delivery wasn't a thing. I also remember when shops didn't open on Sundays. Sundays were really, really long in the 80s.
Now I gotta take the bus. I can't be taking taxis everywhere.
So now she's gone back and corrected the I took a taxi when everybody said, well, why didn't you take us with you? She then says she can't make small talk in taxis and she hates small talk. For which I say, you've only got small talk, Foodie. There is no other type of talk in your, wheelhouse. You're literally, you're not even small talk. You're like minute talk. You can't even manage legitimate small talk. You're below that. You're like barely talking at all talk.
I don't even like taking taxis. I don't like doing small talk. At least on the bus, you don't have to talk at all. I never did a giveaway. How am I going to do this?
No, you didn't. That blooming wooden postcard and that maple leaf sucker. You... if it requires an effort, it just doesn't happen, does it, in your life, Foodie? That's probably 25% of the reason you're veiled again, isn't it? Because making yourself look somewhat reasonable requires effort. Otherwise, say reasonable in quotes.
Nothing changed here. Let's do something very entertaining.
You could film the biscuits rising in the oven. If you only showed, unless you don't have a clear door, that is, of course. That would be very entertaining compared to this. And you're showing a lot of your hair, sweetheart. But I guess you're not veiled for the reasons you claim you are, so it doesn't matter, does it?
Are we second wife beesing? No. I'm hungry now.
Change of the subject.
You have to be a girl's girl to be a sister wife. Yeah. That would be putting it lightly, I guess. I don't know what that even means.
This topic makes her very uncomfortable.
When I was in Syria, I talked to someone who was the second wife because she couldn't have kids or something. And she was like sisters, like BFFs with the other woman. I've never known a female that was willing to share. Hey, SCP. I do gotta take you guys out, I know. No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna share, you know? And then there's this, Then there's this lady I watch. She's American. And she lives in Syria now. And she's the second wife. She's from the States. And she moved to Syria. And she has her own house. Like, each wife should have their own house.
No. Each wife should be provided the exact same as every other wife, be it their own room or they all sleep in the same room because you don't have any other rooms. Each wife should be treated exactly the same as every other wife, should be given the same as every other wife, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You are meant to, according to the Quran, treat every wife exactly the same. If you give one wife a kitten as a gift, you should give all the wives a kitten as a gift. If you give one wife $100 to spend on something, you should give all the wives $100 to spend on something. If one wife has their own tent, I'm not stereotyping, I'm just thinking of examples, every wife should have their own tent. The Quran says that you can take up to 4 wives, but you should only do that if you're in a position to treat everybody exactly the same. So if you were really, really poor and took 4 wives, if all you could provide for that wife was a pot to piss in, you had to give every wife a pot to piss in. Obviously, if you're a sultan, you could give every wife a palace. But it's also pointed out in the Quran that treating every single wife identically, financially, materialistically, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and with time, is actually impossible. So the Quran says you can take multiple wives, but in order to treat them in the way God expects you to treat them all equally, it's not actually humanly possible. So it's kind of, you can do this, but you can't do this properly, so actually you can't do this. It's one of those weird things in the Quran that says, here's a rule, but it's a rule you cannot physically actually do, so it's not really a rule. So in terms of the financial provision, obviously princes and sultans and whatever can afford to do that, but in terms of all the other stuff, they're failing, is what I say. You're not allowed to have a favourite, even like if the first one. You're not allowed to emotionally, affectionately, intimately have a favourite.
I'm not saying a big fancy house or anything like that, but they need their own separate quarters.
No, they don't need their own separate quarters. If you only have one room, as long as they all share that one room, you're still treating them equally.
So she has her own quarters. Then the husband spends some time with the wife and some days of the week with the second wife. So
in terms of spending time, the only a proper way to do it would be literally one day, and just rotate. And therefore it's not, you can't do three days a week with one and 4 days a week with the other, because that's not equally. You could do 3 days with one, 3 days with the other, and 1 day by yourself. That would be equally. But, you know, it's a very difficult thing to do properly according to the teachings of the Quran. In fact, it's impossible. It's one of those things that this is a rule, but the loophole is you cannot do it according to the word of God properly.
You know, you'd drive yourself nuts if you did that. Become a second wife? Yeah, no.
Could you imagine if there was, how Foodie would be on the days it wasn't her turn? She would be insufferable. She would be calling and messaging all the time, and she'd have emergencies that would require Salah's attention. She would be insufferable, and she would make that other wife's life a living hell.
Yeah, I think they have regulated times with the husband, exactly. At least you could share the housework with someone. No, I mean, the only reason I went to Syria was for Salah, that's it. I always just like taking like whatever I could find, like apartment wise. I was like really, remember how desperate I was looking for a place in Syria? So I just took whatever. But I don't know if I want to be here forever, so that fact that I don't know if I'm going to be here forever in this apartment, like, and
she took an apartment, whatever she could get, because she knew it was temporary. It's as simple as that.
This apartment?
Because they have other plans. or she believes they have other plans.
Makes me not want to decorate it. So maybe this year I'll just be frugal and like not buy stuff for this place and just...
You're still going to spend every bit of money you get every month. It's just not on visible stuff. It's stuff for you to consume in its various forms.
Save up till my lease is up. You should make decorations can go really with you. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be here like after a year. I might move after my lease. 0 chance I'll be there after a year. Another reason Pete shouldn't move away from his family. The lady from the healthcare called me today, and she's for my health card, and she's like, oh, what'd she say? You have to guarantee, like, this is a contract. If we reinstate your healthcare, that you're going to be in Canada for the next 6 months.
Her response to this is she hasn't agreed to do such a thing. She doesn't want to wait for the plan she thinks is the plan to happen. She wants to go back to Syria so badly. And Salah's saying, no, you said you wanted Canada. I said it was the last time. You're going to have to wait there until I can come. And she has no identity without being in a relationship, whether it's a fraudulent relationship, a romance scam or not. She has no sense of herself at all. At all. Because she'd be looking for someone else now if she didn't believe she was still in a relationship with Salah. She's so delusional. It's oddly fascinating.
Out of the year, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I don't have plans to leave, but I couldn't make that commitment because I'm like, you know how my life is.
We can plan ahead. As human beings, we are very capable of planning ahead, and your excuse that you're just spontaneous and impulsive is just bullshit. It's bullshit. You just know that you want what you want, and you want to be happy, and you want to be happy now. And you could very easily, and you probably will, agree to, I have to be in Canada for at least 6 months. Much in the same way as you took out a lease at the previous apartment and got a cat, and you just ditched it after a week. You broke the contract with the guy you were renting with, and you gave up on a cat because you wanted something else. So it doesn't matter whether you make the commitment or not. You'll do what you want to do in the future anyway.
This should be a hard guarantee. I didn't sign it because I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, what's gonna happen. What if I need to leave, or what if I want to leave, or... The lease is for a year, I know. I'm like, okay, so I told her I'd get back to her. Like, I need to, like, plan. I need to definitely plan out the next year of my life.
You're doing what you intend to do. You are eradicating 50% of your day with drugs so that time passes quicker, in your opinion, until you can be with Salah again. You hope it can be soon in Syria, but he doesn't want you there. So, yeah, sucks to be you.
And then I thought about it, and I'm like, if it's just going to be me, and it's just going to be, they probably flagged you. If it's just going to be me, then, like, what do I want with my future? That's what I should have thought about that, I know. What's crazy? Yeah, of course I want to be healthy. Yeah. 6 months is not a lot of time.
She seems ever so slightly indignant when people ask her if she wants to be healthy. Because, of course I want to be healthy. Frowny face. Yeah, wanting to be healthy and doing anything about it are completely different things, though.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I can just, email them and say, okay, that's fine. I'll be in Canada. But I don't know, like, what my life... You know how I am. Like, 1 minute I'm here, 1 minute I'm there. you know?
She doesn't want an additional reason for not being able to go back to Syria. Makes her a bit panicky, the idea that her option of going back to Syria is narrowing even further. She doesn't want to fix her health, you know, under Salah's insistence that the only way the relationship can go forward is if she improves on these things. She wants to be able to just go back.
I didn't turn down the healthcare. Making shit up. I just have to, like, let them know what my plan is. Yeah, well, I can just email them back and say yes. Like, it's, you know what I mean? But I was just, like, taken aback. Like, even that kind of commitment, I don't know. Even though that's what I need, you know? The thing that's expensive here is the medications, not the healthcare part. You know? Depends.
So she's justifying, I don't need to be here because I just need to be on medications, and the medications in Syria are cheap. So the healthcare here isn't a big deal if I don't have it, because I just go to Syria, the medication's cheap, and boom, I'm fine. I live a long and happy life with the medications I can buy and not actually the medical supervision to use them.
That's what you think quality of life is, Neil. Quality of life of having running water all the time, but being lonely, you know?
She's really arguing the point of going back to Syria. He doesn't want you there, love. He doesn't want you there. And you'll go back. And this whole thing that's happened in the last couple of months is just going to repeat itself again and again and again. But next time you're raising money to start your life again is barely going to make £1,000, if that. So you'll be stuck. You'll be absolutely categorically stuck. Wherever you go, you will be miserable. It's whether miserable with the pretense of an actual relationship or miserable with the pretense of a very remote long-distance relationship. That's the only thing that will change.
But we'll see. No, I'm not going back to Syria. Like, there's just no way.
She believes that, in a way, because her indications in terms of body language suggest she's telling the truth. It's not that she doesn't want to go back, though.
Casey, I don't give a crap. Listen, this is Foodie Beauty's channel, and I've lived in Syria and the Middle East for 3 years. If I want to talk about memories there, I will. Like, I don't know if you got lost on the way to where you're going, but this is Foodie Beauty channel. Like, I never met someone who has a problem with someone reliving memories of their life. How am I?
Yeah, but that's it. When you do actually talk now, if it's not about food, it's about Salah and Syria. You're not even living in the present, let alone in the future. You're stuck on repeat.
Mysterious. The scariest moment in Syria or Kuwait. Syria, probably when I first got there and we went to the park and I had to use the squat toilet at the park, and also there was somebody that got shot.
Priorities, love. Priorities, love. You're in a war-torn country where there was active civil unrest, and in your list of things that were scary, the first thing is using a squat toilet, which is about you.
Not laughing at the person getting shot. That's not everything was bad. She's healing. The majority of it was good. I mean, what was...
The majority of it was not good. Not if we go by your narrative at the time, and get that smug look off your face. You're being very selective on what you're saying about Syria now. But we saw it. You uploaded it. Stop changing the narrative.
It's bad. I'm trying to think of the good times, you know? Yeah, I mean, pause, do you know any couples that don't fight? By the way...
Not as much and as frequent as you think is normal.
I was on 80-cent antidepressants.
Your life was bad in Syria because your life is bad in Syria. It had nothing to do with the quality of drugs you were taking or whether you were taking any or not. it doesn't change what actually happened.
Like, I would say that people fight, you know? It's nice seeing you make food. Yeah. And I had nothing in the way of, you know what, I'll have you know.
Oh, so cereal was also bad because not only was I on cheap prescription medication, I didn't have weed or cannabis. And that's the only reasons it was bad in Syria. It's the only reasons. You're looking at Syria now through very rose-tinted glasses, foodie, but it's all over the internet. We saw it.
And that's because it's the daytime and I don't really like to do that during the day. I have a life.
Barely, but yeah, there are some things you have to do. So you get them done as quickly as possible, and then you obliviate the rest of your day.
Even though it's not eventful. Do not give up on me.
They will, and it's happening.
Who's lazy? Me. Why are people like insane trying to... What the fuck? Why are y'all trying to mess with me? Huh?
They're not messing with you. They're trying to make you see sense. Big difference.
I think y'all are trying to mess with me. And be like, your husband is talking to another woman already.
Yeah, of course he's talking to another woman. He's always been talking to another woman. The entirety of your relationship, he has been talking to other women. Because he doesn't see you like that.
People just salivate at the idea of misery of others, I know.
No. Well, yeah, but no.
Like I give a shit. Is that what you said? I mean, right? That was a Photoshop picture.
So the lady in the coffee shop that Salah has his arm around is now photoshopped. So the mental gymnastics are gymnasticking. I've never known anybody so delusionally desperate. He could literally shag somebody directly in front of her and she could witness it, and she'll come up with some excuse. Literally, he could say, I tripped and fell, and she would accept it eventually.
We're having a baby. That was quick. He boot me out of Syria? Get right on down to business or what? I wanted to leave, yeah. A part of me did, and a part of me didn't. Nothing happened yesterday. I didn't come on camera, and that pissed a bunch of people off.
No. We're used to you not being on camera. We do expect you to say stuff, though.
Can we go out? Yeah. I just want to sit in my kitchen. Where should I go? A bus ride. Am I chatting a new man? Never. No. I did go out. I just didn't tell you. How much snow is on the ground?
The convenient, I did do something, I just didn't tell you about it. I travelled somewhere many miles away yesterday in a rocket, but I didn't feel like sharing that with you guys.
Not a lot. That's what my idea in Syria was. That's all I wanted. Because in Kuwait we had so much downtime. It was just us like 24/7.
That's all she wants. 24/7 with a man, even if that man does nothing you would expect from a relationship, apart from wait on you. You want somebody to have small talk with while you're busy doing what the fuck you want, food and drug wise.
Jezebel, Salah is not natured, okay? So
basically, she's saying Salah's not cheating on her. He's not Nada. So, mental gymnastics again. You don't have to be like Nada to be unfaithful. There's many forms of individuals that choose to be unfaithful. And historically, Salah already has. To your knowledge, not in person, but that's to your knowledge.
what am I baiting? I usually try to take my gummies later. My medicine later.
See, it's medicinal. It's entirely medicinal. So we can't judge her on the usage at all.
Oh, they're trying to bait me. I would love to go to the Toronto Zoo. CP cannot drive to Toronto. He'd be throwing up the whole way.
So somebody suggested Toronto Zoo. She thought, I'd really like to go there. Oh God, now I've got to make an excuse not to. One, I can't go alone. Two, the one person I can go with gets too travel sick to go. So, oh no, what a disaster. Sorry.
Christmas vlog. Well, I don't celebrate Christmas. Why are you bringing...
Conveniently, I'm not doing Christmas content because I don't celebrate Christmas, even though I will go to my family, eat all the Christmas food and receive presents from them.
Bringing up one thing from the past.
By the way, your viewers celebrate Christmas though, so you should at least do a little something for those who do.
If anything happens, it was them. I was in like a complete state of mental unwellness. Could you not tell that or what? I was like completely paranoid. And he has a huge family anyways.
So I wasn't talking about the immediate them. And even if I was talking about the immediate then or the extended them, I was having a moment anyway. So disregard the entire thing.
Some real shit stirs. Poor Pete's why? I was bragging about the cheap pills. I think they friggin'...
No, they freaking didn't. They were the generic version of the named version of what you got. The dose might have been wrong. The drug itself wasn't.
Motion sickness, yeah. Some talk about your relationship as if they're in it. I know!
You're not even in it.
Oh, you need to get a man who actually loves you.
So do you. Anyway, next part. Hi Amber, are you going to repeal your ban in 3 months? I hope you do. To be honest, I don't know. The fear of losing demonetization has now turned into relief. Bullshit. Being a YouTuber was wonderful, but it also was catastrophic in many ways. Let's talk about the appeal, shall we? To reverse a YouTube demonetization after 3 months, you have to ensure that your channel has broken no new community guidelines. You have to remove any existing content that is in breach of terms of service, and you have to be fully compliant for the 3 months you do make content since demonetization. You fix the associated videos. You do not recreate or film content that is similar to their previous comments. Most violations, the majority of violations of community guidelines are detected automatically, regardless of reporting, mass or not. Let's say 1 billion people signed a petition and presented it to the police saying, "I murdered Pedro Pascal." Now, based on the weight of the evidence that 1 billion people claimed I did it, the police would have to look into it somewhat, given the numbers of the people reporting. However, the fact not only is Pedro Pascal, thankfully, alive and well, evidence I didn't do it, regardless of 1 billion people saying I did. The fact I'm in the UK, he's somewhere else. I've not left the UK in 13 years. Kind of suggests that regardless of the fact 1 billion people reported it, it's not true, and therefore I won't be punished. You were mass reported, Amber, but unless there was evidence you broke terms of service, YouTube could not have done anything about it. And given the change in the law that happened in 2023, they were going to get round to you anyway. The mass reporting may have drawn attention to it, but the decision by YouTube had nothing to do with the people who reported you. Let's go into other things about why things are demonetised. Most violations of community guidelines are detected automatically. Exceptions can be made when the content is clearly educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic. The context of what is being presented is important. For example, you upload a video that shows you discussing or talking about or showing evidence of your ED. I then upload the same content, but my commentary is educationally talking about EDs and maybe documentary style content such as that as produced by Mr. Snowflake, for example, which also uses your content being in documentary format and being, well, documentary means that that doesn't go against terms of service either. It's the context of what is being used. The context that a lot of reactors present your content as is documentary or educational, and therefore circumnavigates the terms of service, where yours was just putting it up for the sake of putting it up. Demonetisation is nearly always because the video violates YouTubers' advertiser-friendly content guidelines. Now, this is a long list, and all I have to say about the long list is Foodie's very current content is also very much in breach. Okay, violence. Now, in terms of context, to show two people fighting is in breach. To show two people fighting during a karate match isn't, because of the context. Adult themes. So you're talking about the various ways certain individuals can pleasure each other would be in breach. Shocking content. Hateful content or hate speech. Drug-related content, Foodie. Drug-related content. There are grey areas also that can lead to demonetisation. Excessive use of bad language and swearing. Controversial issues, including anything that could distress or upset viewers. That applies for you there. Non-inflammatory or demeaning content. Harmful and dangerous acts. You've got to keep in mind that children may see your content. So Jackass, for example, could be in breach because it's kind of encouraging younger people who are easily influenced to do dangerous things. Even if your content is aimed at children, you have to make sure that your behaviour and your subject matter is appropriate in case they happen to watch it. Now, my entire channel is age restricted. A child should not be able to watch the content. However, we know that people go on other people's accounts or lie and stuff. So there is a chance a child could come across my content, even though it's age restricted. So even then, you have to be mindful of what you present and how you behave. And your channel isn't age restricted at all. And you talk about things that are not appropriate. And you're demonstrating certain habits that are also in breach of the advertising requirements. Right. If you did an appeal, which you did, your content is manually checked and it would have still been found to be in breach. You may have had previous strikes before this happening, which would have given you notice as to what was about to happen. The first strike, which expires after 90 days, so if you don't do anything else within 90 days it's in breach, it gets dropped. Only lasts a week. You're unable to upload videos, live stream, create thumbnails or post community posts. Now, the last few months you've taken an awful lot of time off, so I get the idea that you probably were struck a few times and that these absences were not for your mentals but because you had no choice. The second strike, if it happens within 90 days of the first one, you can't post any content for 2 weeks. If you are in breach again, that is when demonetization or the complete removal of your channel would have happened. So that's just a brief explanation for that question. It's not a relief losing demonetization, and you can pretend this is the best thing that could have happened to you, but judging by your activities on other social medias, it is not. You are pretending things are fine when they're clearly not, because you're very good at pretending things are fine when they're clearly not. You don't like being transparent or honest. Other question. Watched you for 12 years and sad that this is how the era is ending. Reply. Thank the people who mass reported me, because I never had an issue with YouTube before then. For which I say bullshit. I think you were struck several times. You had lots of content flagged because of the stuff you put in. You had plenty of chances and plenty of people telling you what you were doing was in breach of terms of service. It has, as I said previously, nothing to do with the mass reporting at all. It's your own doing. It's your fault. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this one individual who is pleading innocence, apart from this, which I forgot I'd left. Do you think you'll lose the weight now that you don't have YouTube income? My income has nothing to do with my weight. I've always been big. I was £420 when I was 16, and yet you were winning awards for dancing. I can get a $3 bag of chimichangas from the grocery store that comes with 8 in a pack. Lol. If you've ever seen £600 Life, most people there don't even have jobs. Well, the people on my £600 Life don't have jobs because of their weight. They haven't gained weight because they don't have jobs. And your income means you can eat more. You can afford more. Takeouts, that kind of thing. So yes, your income does have something to do with your weight. And the reason you don't have a job isn't, the reason you're fat and you don't have a job. There's no, I don't think I described that very well. Not at all. I hope you understand what I was trying to say. Anyway, this went on a bit longer than I expected. Why is there a festive tank in the background? This was taken from Apathetic Facts, by the way. Oh God, another one, sorry. Can't wait to see reaction channels finally die. I'm sure they'll find my content on compilation channels, which doesn't make sense because not only are compilation channels breaking terms of service by stealing my full video with no edits, they are uploading my very content that got me in trouble with YouTube. But they won't be mass reported. That's the beauty of all this. I don't have to deal with the harassment anymore. Right. The majority of reaction channels aren't in breach of terms of service because they fulfil the requirements. Archiving channels, I'm not so sure about. I think there will be an issue with archiving channels. The beauty of this is you don't have to deal with harassment anymore. If you go on your Facebook marketplace, if anybody goes on Amber's current Facebook marketplace, she is being harassed and trolled enormously in the comment section. There isn't any social media that she goes on, no platform that she goes on that she isn't being harassed because of who she is and her arrogance and all this crap. Other channels not getting mass reported, it's inconsequential as to whether or not they're in violation or not, because as I said, the mass reporting may have drawn attention to the facts, but it was happening anyway, and your time was coming because your content was in breach. If your content was fine, it doesn't matter how many people reported you. I've been doing this for over an hour, significantly over an hour. I'm losing my will. Just one more bit coming up. Right, here's a deviation from normal. QUIRKYLOVEROSIE. Is it a coincidence that her initials QLR are incredibly similar to ALR? Has anybody ever given that some thought? Anyway, here is a brief snippet from a live that made me want to comment.
It's admirable how you push through, but don't feel guilty about resting. You got this, girl. I hate seeing you down, but I can only imagine how tough chronic pain is. Thank you. Yeah, it's like a mix of stuff, right? Like, but the thing that gets me the most, like, fucked up in the sense of how I am right now is, like, when the nerve pain is flaring. When my nerve pain is flaring, which, if it was truly a 24/7 nonstop, no breaks, never, I think I might have to get myself committed. I'm not exaggerating. But
firstly, I just want to mansplain the definition of chronic when it comes to chronic pain. Chronic pain, the word chronic, is used when the condition that you have that is causing the pain will be with you for the rest of your life. It's incurable. It's chronic. It's a condition you live with daily, monthly, yearly, until you'll no longer exist. The thing about QLR and her chronic pain is the majority of it could be reversed or alleviated if she lost weight. It's as simple as that. It's not chronic because it's reversible. Granted, she will always have some degree of pain because her weight has fucked up her joints quite significantly. But until she got down to a healthy weight, it could not be diagnosed as chronic because there are things that she can do that can fix it. Unlike myself, who has a chronic pain condition and therefore feels qualified somewhat to comment on this, called fibromyalgia, it doesn't matter how much weight I lose, it's not going to go away. And no matter how much weight I lose, it doesn't get better. I can prevent it getting worse, though, but it will not go away.
It's like one of those things where I also have other types of pains and other symptoms and stuff that are not fun nor fresh, right? But this one, and then also just like I am undecided. Like, it makes the most sense that the alcohol caused this.
Now, I looked into this. Alcohol can aggravate existing pain conditions. It can't just cause pain. Unless you drink so much you get chronically dehydrated. If you have, for example, arthritis, osteoporosis, etc., alcohol can aggravate the pain because alcohol is inflammatory. She had, from what I can work out, some wine that was diluted with lots of other stuff. I think it is possibly unlikely, but she believes her chronic pain is due to alcohol. If it was chronic, it would be always there, and if it was chronic, it wouldn't just happen whenever she drank. So, fuck off, Rosie. I don't have a choice. I don't have an option to get better. She does, by losing weight. I'm currently 30 kilos down on a 50 kilo weight loss journey. And I'm doing that in part because I don't want my spine to get worse. Losing the last 20 kilos will not make my spine better. I've already lost 2.5 discs. But it might, and it might, prevent it getting worse, along with probably a breast reduction. I can't get better though. Rosie can get better. She won't be completely without pain, but she can improve her pain. A lot of us don't have the option to improve our pain. We just have the option of it not getting worse if we make the effort.
But it also could be like factors where it's like alcohol plus stress and other things. And
not once during this entire diatribe, not just a particular clip, but the whole lot when she talks about it, does she ever attribute her weight to her pain. Not once. Not once.
I just want to, I want to test one more time. No, not my back. My pain when I'm like this.
She wants to test her theory that the alcohol aggravates her pain by drinking again, even though the pain is insufferable, in her own words. The majority of us who have chronic pain and know something's the trigger for the chronic pain will do everything they possibly can to avoid that trigger so as not to experience that pain again, because when pain is insufferable, you will do anything in your power to avoid it. I'm just saying, her logic doesn't make sense.
The way I would describe it is my pain is from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. The most unbearable pain is, let me think, neck, shoulders, wrists, hands, hips, knees, ankle, feet.
Now, I'm not going to turn around and say that Rosie isn't in pain. She must be, just given her size. But we've just seen her spend quite a few days on live for many, many hours cooking. Granted, she's sitting down most of the time, but she's cooking. And as somebody who has chronic pain, I can't, even when sitting, do that shit for more than a few minutes at a time. So I'm going to call bullshit on the insufferable part of her dialogue.
Those are the worst parts. I feel it in my calves, in my elbows, in my arms, in my head. Like, I have a headache too, but that's just normal.
Anyway, I can't with this individual. I just can't. So, that's that. I hope you enjoy. I might film some more ducks later. Who knows? And then birthday presents for my mum.